This week on Previews World Weekly, we discuss your unpopular nerd opinions, Jeff Lemire's new horror universe, and how the Eternals did at the box office. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day. Back in the passenger seat this week. Welcome back, Troy.
I don't think it's the passenger seat. We co-host. That's what we do.
Co-pilots.
I did watch the last two episodes. I do want to get this out of the way right now. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I don't know why you guys keep trying to just tell lies to the internet about this. Johnny especially was particularly offensive when it came to this topic. And we're going to revisit this later down the night, probably around Christmas time. We're going to revisit this 100%. Because I don't want to do what every department store in the world is doing right now and jump the gun and just go straight to Christmas. Absolutely. How you doing, Ashton?
I'm hanging in there. I'm getting over a cold. I'm here. It's happening.
You were, yeah, that's right. You got shut down for a little bit early this week, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you seemingly I guess you seem to feel better, look better, or sound better, or whatever it is.
I think all of those things. Yeah, yesterday it was rough yesterday. I showed up to a bunch of meetings with just the grossest messy bonnet. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys.
And sometimes you got to break out the bonnet. Not that I could relate to that, but that's what I've been told. So, what did I miss? Look, we're going to talk about Eternals later. I still have not seen it, so we're going to get around to that eventually. I saw No Time to Die.
Oh, what did you think?
I actually really liked it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I came out of it thinking, this is actually one of the better ones by Daniel Craig. So, all right, cool.
Okay, that seems to be kind of the going opinion.
Yeah, right. I think it's a little underrated on Rotten Tomatoes, but I feel like everything is nowadays. What else was going on? There was a Ghostbusters.
Did you see Dune?
I haven't seen Dune yet. I had to go in order of appearance. Because I was gone for 2 weeks, and so I was like, okay, let me play catch up. We're going to see No Time to Die because we're just going to be out of the theaters too soon because everything flies out of theaters these days.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, then I'm going to see Dune. But now last night in Soho's in the theater, and I'm worried that might be of higher risk to be pushed out of theaters because it's a smaller film.
Yeah.
And then Ghostbusters is like another 2 weeks. So I'm like, man, this is an embarrassment of riches right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And on top of that, Spider-Man No Way Home is around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And they revealed a poster this week. I don't know if you caught wind of this. Very cool poster, very neat.
Yeah.
Further confirming that Dr. Octopus is in the movie, right? And which we already knew.
Sure.
But I don't know if you've been on Twitter lately, Ashton. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. All right, Johnny. So it's okay, Johnny. It's okay because Johnny's biting his nails behind the scenes right now. I don't know. It seems like Twitter has been just almost zealot-like in terms of what they want in this movie, and they have just been duking it out left and right for months and months and months, just speculating, and things have been leaked. And things have been said, and things have not been said, and it's kind of bordering on the Snyder cut levels of
just pandemonium.
Right? Yeah. But it's only on Twitter, and that kind of gives me a bit of conspiracy theory, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is that and I think you actually co-signed this when I mentioned this a few months back. I feel like Sony is just paying for this at this point.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Sony's just all in. They're just yeah, we're just gonna I feel like they saw what the Snyder cut did to Twitter, and they were like, how can we capitalize on this for the Spider-Man film? And you know what? I'm not mad at them, but some of those conversations get a little intense really fast. I had people yelling at Previews World about it. It was really weird.
It's also odd, like you said, that it's not anywhere else.
Right.
I'll talk to my friends about it, and they're like no people that I know in real life are really as invested as the internet seems to be, which is odd.
Well, specifically Twitter, because I don't even see it on Instagram. I don't see it on Facebook. I only see it on Twitter, and I know that they have their algorithm, right? So every time I open Previews World, of course, it's Spider-Man's trending, this is trending, all the things related to Spider-Man are trending, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really interesting how laser focused it is. So we'll see. I definitely got some of the movie spoiled for me, a major part of the movie spoiled for me this week. but I'm also not going to say what it is because I don't actually know if it's true or not. Still, like I
Okay.
came out of it kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool if it's true, and I
Okay.
was excited because it was like, oh, that's awesome. But I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say that it is true because I just don't know. There's been so much speculation, so much back and forth. It's like, all right, we'll see. We'll just wait until was it December? I guess, right?
Yeah,
So
Christmas.
December 17th. So there you go. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. Let's know what you think of Spider-Man: No Way Home. Be nice though. Don't spoil anything. Like like because
Yeah,
we're not going to pop
no.
it up, but we're not going to put it on screen. But we're also not going to like we don't want you to do it for people in the chat as well. Tim Liff says we should say goodbye to Arrowverse Supergirl tonight. That is actually very true. The last
Oh.
episode is tonight. What is this? Oh, what is this? Okay, that is not true. Snyder Cut is not boring. It was fun to watch. Snyder Cut was longer than Whedon's short version. Okay, I don't think I said it was boring,
Did we?
but okay.
I don't.
I don't
Okay.
think we did. I mean, thanks for confirming the Snyder cult.
Yeah, right.
You guys got to listen. That's important. You got to listen to what we're saying before you jump down our throats about things. I never said it was boring. I actually would not call that movie boring, if anything else. All
I
right.
still have not seen all of it.
It's okay. It's a lot of movie, and truthfully, like you saw Dune, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of. And it sounds like that's a lot of movie, and it's a lot of movie that you felt like it was worth your time. So
Yeah.
it's okay. You gave WB your money anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You're right. You got it in the end.
All right, let's do some what's a comic shop. So Ashton's here, I'm here. We're going to give you our picks this week, and then we're going to show you what's available at your local comic shop today. So hallelujah, let's do it. All right, so it is new comic book day, and you know what? I'm going to go first because I haven't done this in a while, so I might be a little rusty.
That's
All
reasonable.
right, that's reasonable and self-important. That's fine. So I picked this on our show like a couple of weeks back, right? A Righteous Thirst for
Yeah, I
Vengeance.
remember that.
I definitely checked it out. Definitely read it. It's actually, what's actually kind of surprising is how economic it is, but how much it gets away with in issue one.
Okay.
Like there's not a lot of dialogue, but the tension is there.
Hmm.
And the story wasn't going in a direction I thought it was going to go, which, at 30 pages, not a lot of dialogue. And then you give me a swerve on top of that. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I'm in. I'm down. So it's written by Rick Remender, of course. Remender, of course, is behind Deadly Class. He wrote literally probably one of my favorite X-Men runs ever. He, of course, has also done books like, I was about to say Fortune and Glory. That's a Brian Michael Bendis book. Sorry. Black Science and a bunch of other titles. But the concept here is kind of slow in revealing itself. But number 2 is
Okay.
out this week. And so for that reason, I'm all in. And typically I don't like the, first issue is all a mystery for the sake of being a mystery. I'm not big on that.
Hmm.
But it was executed so well that it got my attention. And like by the end of it, I was like, well, wait a minute. So what's going to happen to this dude? And I'm in. I'm going to pick it up this week. So that's Rick Remender and Andre Lima Arajo, sorry. And that's in comic shops today from Image Comics. So check it out, especially if you like revenge
Hmm.
stories. I love revenge stories. I feel like they're easy still.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. What are you looking forward to this week, Ashton?
Okay, so my pick this week is Ex Libris from Uncivilized Books. This is one of the books that just caught my attention based on the cover art alone. I didn't know
Mhm.
anything about it. It's just the cover art grabbed my eye.
Mhm.
So it's original graphic novel with writing and art from Matt Madden. And it focuses on a character that's trapped inside of a room with nothing else in there with them except for a futon and a bookcase full of comic books, which
Hmm.
sounds like a dream. But it will turn out to be not such.
Okay.
So as this person kind of starts reading the comics, looking through the cover art, they begin to suspect that there's some sort of like hidden message in the comics warning them of some sort of impending threat. And so as they're kind of digging through these comic books looking for clues, it becomes harder for them to distinguish between what's reality and what's fiction. And they kind of blur their own lines between
Mhm.
sanity and madness, which is such a cool idea.
Mhm.
And it kind of plays into that like Castaway Interstellar type idea that like madness becomes genius and also the details matter to your ultimate outcome.
Okay.
So I think that'll be really neat. Plus, this seems like one of those books that is a love letter to comics. And I know we've
Yeah.
talked about that before, how much we
Yeah.
love that. So I'm
Absolutely.
interested to give this a try.
No, that's actually pretty neat. Actually, see, that completely passed me by. So I actually will want to check that out because,
Mhm.
especially since it's a love letter to comics. But I also love that I've realized lately that I am very much a sucker for like head up your butt levels of philosophy and
Right.
existentialism. Like, you know what I mean? I've discovered that about myself. Actually, I just read a book from Boom that was very much in line with it. And I can't remember the name right now. I'm totally blanking. I'll remember in a second. But like, yeah, it's.
Mhm.
I love that. I love the batting around of ideas in a story. I think that's always kind of
Yeah.
fascinating, you know, and the best ones do that. So okay, Ex Libris. All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, check that out, guys. This is available at your local comic shop today. All right. Let's show you some more of what's available at your local comic shop today. How about that? Anime is here, and she's going to show us some of the featured items available at your local comic shop. So not everything,
Mhm.
but some of the stuff that you can also get. And when we come back, I'll put you onto some more, and I'll remember what that book was called because I can't remember right now.
Every week, we give you the rundown of some of the books hitting the shelves for the first time. Here's what's at comic shops for the week of November 10th, 2021. Is that it? No way. Your comic shop has something for every type of customer. So stop at a comic shop today, and I'll see you back here next week.
All right, thank you, Anime. And yes, you can catch Anime every Monday on the Previous World's feed, where she gives you an insight into what are their featured items that week at your local comic shop. That's every single Monday, and that's on Twitter, that's on Facebook, that's on Instagram, that's on actually Free Comic Book Day's TikTok. You know, then we of course tear it over to Free Comic Book Day as well, and then we double down on Wednesdays and show it to you again, just so everyone is caught up. And if you feel like you still haven't seen something that has piqued your interest, go to Previews World. Look at Johnny. Johnny on the spot.
Right on it.
PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. This is like he just read my mind. I love it. And actually, I did remember what the book is called. It's called The Many Deaths of Leyla Starr. And that's from Boom
Okay.
Studios. Yeah, and that was actually really cool because she's the embodiment of death, right?
Mhm.
It's more of a, I think I want to say there's almost more of a Hinduism angle to it.
Okay.
But she gets kicked out of her job because someone found the cure for death.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Okay.
so I guess the gods are like, we don't know what to do with you, so just live on Earth forever. And so she does, and she's kind of going after the person that is basically found the cure for death. But it really kind of gets into these interesting
Oh.
philosophical philosophy 101 places, you know.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend that to you because it's actually also a very gorgeous book on top of that, and I know that you would probably dive into something like that. So
Yeah.
you know, something interesting, especially for us lit nerds, you know, as it
Right.
were. Right. All right. Oh, what's this? Ashton, how do you keep all your rings from flying off your feet? You know, admittedly, you do gesticulate a lot. And so they could be projectiles if you're not careful, Ashton.
You know what? I have an inclination towards sweaty hands, so they're just stuck.
I mean, that's it. That's it. Venom versus Carnage, good movie, and hoping for a DC Universe expansion. Okay, those are two thoughts, right? All right, cool.
Okay.
Gotcha. I actually
Gotcha.
still have not seen Venom 2, so I need to check that out as well.
Yeah, neither have I.
Exactly. We got here Tim Lith. I would hope with Morbius and No Way Home we would see Venom move further, even with Morbius mentioning him, which I still haven't watched the trailer for that yet, but I saw you guys
Oh,
said
that's cool.
Morbius mentions Venom in the trailer as a
Mhm.
joke or something like that. So
Yeah.
all right, cool. Again, I got to play catch up. I'm behind on a bunch of stuff. So this is what happens. It's like I don't work for a week and I'm like out of the loop on all my nerd stuff.
Right.
It
Everything
just
happens.
doesn't feel right. Everything happens, right? There was just so much stuff back to back. Speaking of stuff back to back, let's catch up some people on some news items. How about
Yes.
that? Ash's going to take the wheel and she's going to put us on to what's been going on in the world of nerddom these last couple of days. Let's go.
News.
I'm not going to say what that sounded like. Anyway.
Okay. We're just gonna push past that.
Let's keep going. Keep it going.
All right. So the Seattle police are trying to find the owner of a collection of stolen comics and collectibles that they recently recovered. They recovered it from a stolen box truck last month in October. The items include bagged and boarded comics, Funko Pops, action figures, and a ton of other collectibles. So the police are suggesting that if anyone had a collection like this in storage, that they check on their collection, make sure it's all there and everything is accounted for. If not, to contact them regarding any missing items. If the owner is not found for these items, unfortunately, the police are going to have to destroy them, per their department's policy, which would be such a waste. So fingers crossed somebody claims these.
They're like, someone just claim it so they don't destroy it. Like, I don't understand why they have to destroy them. Can't they just give them to I don't know, every library in Seattle or something?
Right.
Like, geez. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, if this is the APB. If you guys are missing some comics, there you go. It's funny too. You say comics and Funko. I mean, that could be like anybody who's watching this show.
Right. Well, that's what I was wondering is how are they justifying claims? Like, how can you prove that it's your stuff?
Right. Yeah. Like, that's also an interesting case. Yeah. I don't know. That's actually kind of wild. Yeah. I don't know. Happy. Oh, wait, was this? Timless says he's happy to take ownership before they are destroyed. I'm sure a lot of people are. I'm sure a lot of people are. What's going on with Jean-Paul Leon's final book, Winterman, Ashton? What's that about?
I don't know. I was hoping you were going to take that one.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll take it. That's fine. So, all right, we covered this a couple of weeks back on our show, right? Jean-Paul Leon, phenomenal artist. He worked, of course, for Milestone. He's worked on stuff like the X-Men and the Batman books, most notably. He had a series called The Wintermen. And despite the fact he passed away May 1st, three of Leon's closest friends and collaborators, which is Bernard Chang, Tommy Lee Edwards, and Scott Dunbar, have launched a crowdfunding campaign through Zoop to bring readers the Winterman Artist Edition, with all proceeds benefiting Leon's wife and daughter. So I think this is actually pretty neat. First of all, Leon was actually a very unique artist. He has this very interesting, shadowy style that I've always kind of appreciated. To the point that actually I kind of prefer this stuff in black and white. And it looks like this artist edition is going to give you his artwork in the black and white original format, which I think makes his stuff pop even more. But yeah, if you're interested in this, definitely pick up, go to Zoop and check it out. I think, where's the, if you go to zoop.com, you should be able to find it pretty easily. And there's the artist edition that they're putting together for him. So
that's insane.
Yeah. And look at some of the interiors, right? Look, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, he's just one of those guys. It's almost a crime to color his stuff because it just looks so good. It just pops.
Right.
But yeah, The Winterman was an old series of his, and I could delve more into this. After illustration work for Dragon Magazine, a RoboCop miniseries for Dark Horse Comics, Jean-Paul Leon's big break came in 1993 when he illustrated the first 9 issues of Static for DC and Milestone. From there, Leon will work on a variety of projects for Marvel and DC, including 1999's Earth X and 2005's The Winterman, which is, of course, getting an artist edition here. So yeah, if you get a chance, guys, check it out. I think this is actually really neat. And we always hear these stories about how some creators pass away and there's not enough to actually cover even things like their burial. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is a good way to give back to them. Outside of just buying, of course, a copy of his old work or something like that, this is a good way to go about that. So definitely show your support, show some love. I'm probably going to do the same thing. It's a cool coffee table book to have. Why the heck not? What else is going on here? What about Jeff Lemire's shared horror universe? I know a lot of people are excited about this.
Yeah, so the Gideon Falls team of Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino have launched a shared horror universe called the Bone Orchard Mythos coming next year in 2022. And so the Bone Orchard Mythos is this ambitious expansion universe that'll span multiple books across a variety of different storytelling formats. And so some of these will be self-contained stories, some of them will be ongoing, and so they'll function as standalone hardcover graphic novels, miniseries comics, and long-form maxi-series comics. But they'll all be set within this same universe and all contributing to the overall Bone Orchard mythology. And so the team plans to release at least 2 new titles each year for the next several years, beginning in the summer of 2022. And they'll begin with The Passageway. That'll be their first title. And then in fall 2022, they'll follow up with a miniseries titled 10,000 Black Feathers. And then another original graphic novel in 2023 titled Tenement. And so in a statement, Jeff Lemire said, "These will be just the first few projects in the Bone Orchard mythos, but that's just the start. We are planning a vast mythology of horror stories that will last for years to come." So this is going to be a huge deal. And this first title, The Passageway, will be hitting comic shops on June 15th, 2022.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jeff Lemire is like the hardest working man in comics.
Right.
He's got something at Image, he's got something at Dark Horse. He's just got stuff everywhere, but he does seem very comfortable with the I'll say the supernatural, the horror. That seems to be definitely his wheelhouse. So definitely keep an eye out for this in a future issue of Previews catalog for pre-order, because it's definitely coming. Did you see Eternals, Ashton? Have you checked it out at all?
I have not.
Okay, all right, guys, let us know in the chat if you have seen Eternals and what you thought of it. No spoilers, because I've already heard some stuff about the post-credit scene. I thought it was interesting because one of the things I did catch wind of while I was away, right, is going into the weekend, people were saying that Eternals was destined to flop.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. And people were kind of like, oh, it's not going to make enough. It's not going to make enough. And ultimately, look, apples and oranges, guys. The movie debuted to $71 million at the domestic box office. I think its overall haul, let's see, might have been closer to 100 million, like worldwide. One of the things that contributed to is like there were certain countries that did not play the movie. Just refused to.
Oh, interesting.
And when that gets into some interesting cultural things, like, also gets into some things involving same sex, which is apparently in the movie as well. But yeah, it's always interesting to me how people like kind of salivate over the box office numbers after to see something bomb or see something succeed, if you checked it out and you got any opinions, we'll pop them up on the screen. Just don't spoil anything. I see John Poe here saying, I can't wait for watch the Eternals, but I have to watch Shang-Chi first, then I will watch the Eternals. Okay, cool. David Brown seems surprised. Said there's a post-credit scene. Yeah, David.
Oh boy.
If you didn't catch it, sorry.
Whoops.
My bad. One thing I will say, and I have not seen the movie. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so I'm not trying to spoil anything. But I did see today that the screenwriters are open to the idea of Galactus being in future MCU movies. Now, I'm not sure if that's in reference to something in the film or if that's them just saying, because it seemed like they were saying is like, this opens up the MCU so much that, yes, we need a world devourer, we need Galactus. So interesting. And Fantastic Four is right around the corner. So I'm interested in that. I'm very excited about that. We'll see. But
can I ask you a question? And I don't want to make this too large and eat up a lot of time, but I need to know: is there a point at which this gets too big? Like,
yeah. I think. I mean, look, it's I think there's ultimately going to be. Ultimately, the MCU is going to experience the same thing the comic books experience. Which is they're going to get so expansive, and it's either at that point you either commit to it and just keep rolling with it, and then you just, as a viewer, but also as a storyteller, you kind of have to pick the gems that work for you and just play with those gems and kind of be like, I can't worry about that other stuff right now, or you throw it in the trash and just start all over again.
Oh no!
Which I don't want them to. I don't think they should ever do that. I mean, like, of course, there's going to come a time maybe when Kevin Feige's not in charge of Marvel again anymore, and there'll be a new guard, and maybe they'll think differently about it. But one of the things I love about Marvel, one of the things that they've worn on their sleeve, is that this is the longest ongoing story like in human history, at least that's how they like to say it, which is kind of hard to argue, really. And I think that that's a thing that Marvel should continue to uphold, and I think that that's a thing that DC doesn't have to uphold, to be honest. It was never really their thing in the first place. But it is Marvel's thing, and I think they should kind of continue with it. That is a multiverse saga. Galactus is coming soon. All right, I like that a lot. Silver Surfer will kick Captain America's ass again. Again? Like what? Okay.
Or you see, it's because it was played by Chris Evans in the original Fantastic.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
I got it.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. You're not wearing your costume today, Johnny. You should wear your costume. Johnny should always wear his Captain Obvious costume.
Forever.
And then just come on the show and say obvious things. I totally agree with you.
Amia tried to get him to do it last week. She's putting in a plea for that to happen.
Johnny, don't disappoint Mia. Don't make her cry. You got to do it, Johnny. You got to do it. All right. What else we got on track for this show? Let's talk about Joy Operations, right? Or more specifically, we're going to let Brian Michael Bendis talk about Joy Operations. This is a new series coming from him at Dark Horse Comics, and we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Check it out.
Well, David Mack and I, those who don't know, we've been together. I've been married 25 years, and I've known David, and I've been working with him longer than that. David is a major part of the Dark Horse family with the Kabuki Library and all the covers he does for Neil Gaiman's work and elsewhere. So yeah, we called him first. David, sci-fi, let's go. And he literally, like, the next day handed in the most beautiful cover. It was amazing. Like, we've built so many things together over the years, but like we're really like creatively married together. And just to like show him the new character, and he immediately, even though he has nothing to do with it, and he immediately understood what part of my brain this came from, and show it back to me in his voice was just the best. Michael Avon Oming, another one of my creative marriages. We've been together for a very, very long time. And with Mike, I have such a long history of dense material. Us trying to top ourselves has been our key goal. Like, not commercial, but like creatively. Like, how do you like do better than what we've done? And so we're looking for the material that will allow us that has been glorious. And then to have Mike come in and add his voice to Joy's is quite something. When the other artists come in and do their variant covers, they often help settle like whatever anxiety you have about, is this good? And then you see David Mack painted, oh yeah, okay, it works. It totally works. So, and then when Mike handed in his, it made me feel like it was all coming together.
All right, and that's Joy Operations, which is dropping in comic shops later this month. It's not out today, but it will be in comic shops later this month. Yeah, and this is really cool. Like, it's oddly enough, it's almost a homecoming for Brian Michael Bendis in terms of going to Dark Horse, because apparently they've been courting him forever to bring his creator-owned stuff over there. And he said it himself in an interview I did with him, which you can catch on YouTube, that it just seems right for him to be making new projects here, and also bringing stuff like Powers and Pearl over to Dark Horse as well. It just seems like this is where they should have always been. So yeah, definitely give yourself a chance to check out the interview I did with Brian Michael Bendis. It's about maybe 4 weeks old now. But that means that, but the book hasn't come out yet, so it's still new to somebody, right? And we talk about a couple of things. I talk a little bit with him about Daredevil. I talk a little bit with him about Ultimate Spider-Man, of course, right? And then I talked to him about Halo, because he definitely did a couple of Halo comics as well. And one of the actual very entertaining things he said is he can justify anything. So when they approached him to do Halo, he was like, well, it's research.
Nice.
He was like, I'm playing Halo is just research now. So, it's just fun little tidbits from him. I always love hearing creators talk about their craft. And Bendis definitely had plenty to say during our interview. So definitely check that out. That's on PREVIEWSworld's YouTube right now. Check it out. Social Swamp. Are you ready, Ashton?
It's a doozy.
We have the Hakes thing, don't we?
Oh, we do have the Hakes thing.
Just
I'm
kidding.
Totally sorry. Whoops. Sorry, Johnny. Actually, Johnny, you should come back for this, because I know you've been tracking this with great interest, right?
Like,
I don't know why I said that.
Like Al Roker tracking storms on the Today Show.
Okay.
Ashton said, don't get carried away. So, all right. So we did the Hakes. So Hakes, of course, had an auction that had been going on for a full month, actually. And the prize, the big prize was the Avengers Endgame shield that was one of the ones that Chris Evans, of course, used in Avengers Endgame. Not the one that was cracked in half, right? But one of the other props. Super official. And apparently it went for an insane amount, Johnny. So what do we have here? Let's Vanna White this. What's going on here?
That's like so. It's like no, this way. No,
right.
This way.
This way.
No back.
Mickey.
Oh, whoops.
$259,570.
Wow. You know what?
Wow.
I'm actually surprised. I thought it would go for like $1 million, to be honest.
That was way more than I was expecting it to go for.
That's insane. Yeah. Maybe I'm just too much of a Marvel fanboy. But yes, that's actually pretty impressive. I wish we knew who actually bought this. They don't tell you those things, do they?
It was Nicolas Cage.
It was Nicolas Cage.
No,
it's not Superman memorabilia.
True. What if it was Chris Evans and he just bought it back?
That's funny.
That would be the ultimate troll.
That would be.
But yeah, so of course, Hake's auction comes around every couple of months. So definitely keep an eye on PREVIEWSworld.com, keep an eye on FreeComicBookDay.com, and of course, go to Hakes.com to keep an eye out because, yeah, you can get all sorts of really cool stuff from Hakes. Everything from political memorabilia to pop culture memorabilia, vintage comics. Like, I mean, they had Amazing Fantasy number 15 in there. Like, they have some rarities in there, and it's really impressive the amount of stuff. It's just to own a piece of history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with the Avengers Endgame shield, like you're owning a piece of history. It's recent history,
Yeah.
but that's not something. Look, you own that thing. No one's ever going to take that away from you. You know. So
That's true.
yeah, well, I guess unless you're a robber in Seattle,
They can
apparently.
steal it. Right. Oh, but then the police will ask you to claim it before they
To
destroy
claim it,
it.
right? So yes, definitely. How much for the shield? How much shawarma do I have to sell? You got to sell a lot of shawarma, my friend. You sell a lot of shawarma. All right, let's actually do Social Swamp now. Ashton, ready for
I'm
some
ready.
unpopular opinions?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. Unpopular opinions time.
This is one of my favorite Social Swamp segments. We asked you guys to tell us your unpopular nerd opinion, that thing you feel so strongly about that makes your friends mad at you. Let's see what you said. Brandon said, Eternals is now my favorite MCU film. It's completely unique compared to the rest of the MCU. It has the best acting in the MCU and it has the most compelling and thought-provoking story.
Interesting. You know, actually, real quick, Johnny, before you switch this off, you know something I don't like.
Oh boy.
Johnny, can you go back to the post, Johnny? I don't like when people laugh at someone making a genuine statement. I think that's so rude. It's like so rude.
It is rude.
Like it's so passive aggressive. Like don't do that. That person had an opinion. You're gonna laugh at their opinion like that. Like it's just I don't know. It's
incredibly petty.
It's incredibly petty. It's the internet equivalent of laughing at the wrong time. Like you know what I mean? Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
I do know what you mean. Oh man. Jasmine said, I don't care if it's canon or not. A good story is a good story.
I love that actually. That should get more likes.
I
Absolutely,
appreciate
Jasmine.
that and agree.
Totally.
Teo says, fans are often the most damaging aspect of nerd subcultures all around, but I've noticed it especially with comic books. They ask for change, then complain that everything's different.
I mean, I've heard this argument a million times before. I don't necessarily agree, but okay, Teo, that's your opinion.
I don't know that I agree all the way to the end of that comment. I
Yeah.
do think that the people that love a thing the most are traditionally the people that also destroy it in the end
Yeah, of
out
course,
of their
right, yeah.
love for it.
Right, that's true. There is some truth to that. You're absolutely right about that. I think that there's this misunderstanding of fans want change, but they want meaningful change. You know what I mean? And a lot of times what you get is change that's just kind of like either change for change's sake
Mhm.
or change that's just not really much of anything really changes. It's just sort of like,
Yeah.
how can we get ourselves back to the status quo as quickly as possible, you know?
Yeah.
And I think fans they just genuinely want to be invested in the character's journey,
Yeah.
you know? And I think sometimes people mistake that for, oh, they want change, but then they don't really want it. It's like, no, they want a reason to care. That's it.
Right.
You know? So
Oren says the movie version of Watchmen made the right decision to not include the squid.
totally agree.
Ed says too many
Nope.
Okay. Too many earth-shattering events. Just tell stories. There is no need to have a crisis or war as soon as the previous one ends.
I totally agree with that too.
As do I. Jody says Star Wars is played out. Bruh, chill.
You can't. Yeah, you know what? Every now and then, you know how I am with Star Wars. Like every couple of months, I would agree with that, and then like the Book of Boba Fett trailer would
Mhm.
drop, and I'm like, damn it! God.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I am all here for it. I am ready. I have sold my soul.
You know what? I don't think you're the only one at this point, Ash. It's all right. Your soul's comfy in a jar next to Kathleen Kennedy's desk. It's okay.
I hate it. I want that.
Sorry, I went too far. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, literally anybody else's office.
It's next to John Favreau's desk. How about that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right. Sarah says Jean Grey is a weak,
Ooh.
whiny, wishy-washy insult to female characters that I found annoying and sexist from the first meeting, and she hasn't much improved. She's mildly tolerable as Phoenix. As a kid, I wished pretty much any other Deason of any comic book would just knock some character and backbone into her. Damn.
I mean, Grant Morrison had a great line in New X-Men, which is like the most important Jean Grey thing. The most important thing that Jean Grey ever did was die. And that's paraphrasing, of course, but I kind of respect that and get that. I think bringing her back has created more problems than it's like the memory of Jean Grey means more than her existence in the Marvel universe now. I guess. So.
Charles says Western comics have become more about forced diversity and shipping than the aspect of good storytelling. That the aspect of good storytelling is overlooked. I don't think anybody cares about a character's love interest if that's all they are. Not every superhero needs to be defined by their sexuality. There's a lot of things happening in this comment that I don't think are related to each other.
No, I think there's a lot of false equivalency here. But again, look, you don't have to read everything, man. Like I know, some people use that argument like as like a hammer, to just kind of shut down a conversation. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying that, like, look, I figured out pretty early as a kid when they turned Ben Reilly into Spider-Man and Magneto got amnesia for the 18th time. And, I just figured out pretty early, like as a teenager, like, I don't have to read all these. I can read the ones I like and not read the ones I don't like. And that's fine, and I don't want to step on someone else's opportunity to get into comics. Because I think comics are cool, so just chill out. It's okay.
Just chill out. Stephen says there is no rational universe in which Batman beats Superman. Show me a video of a chihuahua defeating a grizzly bear, and I might be convinced.
I mean, that's fine.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Do you remember like the Thor Superman thing we did a while ago I was like so invested in?
So let's not talk about that.
I'm not bringing it up.
Let's go back to talking about forced diversity and sexuality. Let's not talk about that.
I bring it up just to say I will pick Superman even in situations where it makes no sense to pick Superman.
Okay, I mean, that's respectable. I understand. Like Superman versus Banana, Superman.
100% Superman every time.
Superman. I mean, that's fine. I get it. I understand.
I hate it here. John's opinion is Dune is a less interesting, slower pace, and not fun version of Star Wars. My opinion for John is that you've just completely misunderstood everything Dune is about.
John, you should... Okay, continue, Ashton. Go ahead.
This was my biggest concern with Dune from the time, it got announced that they were adapting it yet again, is that Dune would go over the head of your average moviegoer because it is so abstract in the things it tries to accomplish, right? It's about like geopolitical warring houses and environmentalism and the power of like female and all of these things that are very heady. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Star Wars borrowed so much from Dune. Like, what is Tatooine but Arrakis, bro? They are literally farming moisture.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it is heady. I don't think it's boring. I just think you've got to sink your teeth into the plot if you're gonna get anything out of it.
I mean, look, there's some people that are hard sci-fi people. I know I'm not a hard sci-fi person. Like, that's kind of one of the reasons I gave up on the book halfway through. But like at the same time, like, every now and then something kind of turns the corner and I'm kind of like, actually, I kind of like that. Maybe I just don't need just like, the Star Wars variety. That's how I got into Star Trek. Like people consider Star Trek more hard sci-fi, and I didn't really pay attention to it. I was into Star Wars first. And then after a while, it's like, actually, Star Trek is kind of necessary in a lot of ways.
Right.
So yeah, I totally get it. Like, yeah, some people like hard sci-fi, some people don't. It's all right. How about the Skywalker story is done? Yes, I agree with you on that one.
It should be done. If it isn't, it should be.
It should be done. It's time to let that go. but there are many stories out there in the Star Wars universe. Yes, and that's why I'm excited about stuff like The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, because I want those stories now. Like,
Right.
yeah.
And that's something we've talked about, I feel like, a million times on this show, and we're
Mm-hmm.
almost, beating a dead horse about it. But the farther away you get from the Skywalker saga and any Skywalker story, be that Luke, Leia, Anakin, Han, whoever, the more interesting it's going to be, because the less room there is for expectations.
Right. No, and I think that's the best way to go. I think that look, we talked about the sequel trilogy. Like, I think that one of the mistakes they did was either you could have put them in a space, those characters in a space where they could be those characters, or you should have just left them alone, Right. And the disaster that fell from that is because they just didn't leave them alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand corporate wise why that's important, but from a storytelling perspective, it kind of hurts my nerd soul a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want more Grogu. I think we all want more Grogu at this point.
Yes,
Like,
I want more Grogu.
It's funny that Grogu has actually become the breakout star of Star Wars in the last 10 years.
Yeah, easily.
The last 10 years. I can't remember when the prequel trilogy ended, but so. All right, thanks. Oh, there you go, Grogu. There you go.
He helps me work.
That's good. I appreciate Grogu. Everyone loves Grogu. All right, so hey guys, thank you for your unpopular opinions. Look, we try to do this sparingly. We used to do it every month, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this every month because it was getting a little heated. But at the same time, we know that nerds have opinions, and look, you don't need an unpopular opinions prompt to share your opinions online, nerds. Like, you just don't. So we just want to let you get it off your chest, get it out of your system, and then we'll come back in 2 or 3 months, and when the coast is clear, and try it again, maybe. How about that?
Can I say this? I think we should bring it back around Christmas time when everyone's families are getting together and everyone's already stressed out. Family.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. Yes. There you go.
Unpopular holiday opinions.
Oh, unpopular holiday.
Ooh.
I already know where this is going. I don't like it. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I don't even want to hear it. Anyway.
No, honestly, I wasn't even going that way. I was like eggnog, yay or nay?
Eggnog with rum?
Are people drinking eggnog without rum?
That's also true. Like, who does that? Stop being weird.
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
You know who's also doing it wrong? People who think Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Whoa.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Lethal Weapon's a Christmas movie. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is all Shane Black movies are Christmas movies. Last Boy Scout's a Christmas movie. What else is Christmas? Long Kiss Goodnight is a Christmas movie. Thank you very much.
This is a list.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
I'm just saying, guys.
Relax.
Moving on.
All right, fine. I will not be silenced. Okay, what is this week's poll?
This week's poll is about upcoming MCU things. Shows, movies. I lost my train of thought. I couldn't save it.
It's okay.
Okay, so we asked you guys what you're more excited about between these two upcoming pieces of work, Hawkeye or Spider-Man No Way Home. They're both coming out in December. Troy, what are you excited for? Also, where's Johnny? He's supposed to be here.
Johnny's got a chime.
I'll be in the room for this because I have opinions.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually, you know what? Given the things that I know now, I'm definitely very excited for Spider-Man No Way Home. But I am also excited for Hawkeye because I feel like he gets shafted so much in these movies.
He does.
There's a nugget of what makes him great in each movie, but it's not enough, I think, to convince a general audience. As a comic book fan, I get it. I see it. I'm like, oh yeah, they did the thing that he did before in the comics. That's cool,
right.
But as a general, as a member of the general audience, I remember there was an SNL skit they did with Scarlett Johansson where they basically just ragged on her and Hawkeye for a solid 5 minutes. And I was like, the nerd in me was like, oh, come on. That's West Coast Avengers, David Aja and Matt Fraction. They did good stuff with these characters, but I know nobody else cares, so what about you, Johnny?
Oh, I'm 100%, hyped for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm so excited I can't even talk. I mean, let me just go back to like the poster that came out recently, because I know you were talking about it briefly earlier. But just looking at this, first of all, we, like you said earlier, we know Doc Ock's already in it. We've seen that from the previews, from
Right.
the teaser trailer. Also, Green Goblin in there.
Yeah.
But I like looking at this and just seeing like the other elements of it. Like I see sand in the background, so I'm hoping it's some Sandman. I see electricity, so I'm hoping for some Electro. So I mean, definitely, all signs are pointing towards like a Sinister Six incarnation in this film. So I'm super excited for that. And I've always been a Spider-Man fan, so for me, it's No Way Home.
Yeah.
And 80.9% people also agree.
Oh, poor Hawkeye.
Poor Hawkeye.
Whatever, you guys are full of it. You're gonna watch Hawkeye.
Oh, I know. I'm definitely going to watch it. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking to the internet now.
But I mean, Hawkeye comes out I think Thanksgiving weekend or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But other people were saying hard choice going with Hawkeye, because I hope they're going with the Fraction Aha run, and then it's going to introduce Kate Bishop.
Oh, definitely going to do that.
Yeah. And Matthias is saying Hawkeye is going to be great, but Spider-Man undeniably has the most hype behind it. Haven't been this hype for an MCU movie since Infinity War / Endgame.
Which is like last year.
Right. Like, didn't those movies just come out?
No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Wow. Yeah, it has been 2 years.
No, it's pre-shutdown and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
2020 was a time vortex.
It really was. It's just empty. There's nothing there that happened.
No, actually, I think Infinity War came out over 5 years ago.
Did it come out in 2018?
Was it? No.
Okay,
it was, Endgame was 2019. Infinity War was 2018.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I was about to say, there's no way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Spider-Man.
I'm missing that much time.
Ashton, I'm curious, Ashton, because you always kind of are Switzerland on these MCU things. Where do you fall? Is there one thing that you would actually be more interested in here than the other?
What, between Spider-Man and Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Definitely Spider-Man for two reasons. One, not to be a gigantic jerk, but I didn't even realize there was a Hawkeye thing going on until 3 days ago.
Okay, fair enough.
So it just is not on my radar. So it's hard to be so excited about something you don't know about. Secondly, I love Spider-Man just for the sole reason of I don't know. I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but I can't totally recall. Do you remember the Spider-Man game for PlayStation 2?
Yeah. The one for the movie? It was based on the movie, right? The Tobey Maguire movie? Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother and I had that game and we played it religiously. And I just have such fond memories that I'm forever Spider-Man. Yes.
Yeah, no. You know what? Look, I think that's kind of the thing about Spider-Man. He's kind of an easy character. He's like a superhero entry level character. You know what I mean? You can get into superheroes through Spider-Man. I think that's true for a lot of people. So, I was going to say, what is it? Colin George says in 2020 we merged with another alternate universe. I think you're 100% right about that, Colin. I think you're 100% right about that. Let me tell you. I saw a thing online. I'm not going to say, but I saw that this poster bookend is being bookended by two other posters that Johnny showed. I'm just going to say that much. And that was very interesting to see. I don't know if it was real. It might have been an impressive Photoshop job, but I saw that and I was like, interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll leave it there. All right. Comic shop shout out time.
Yeah, you're right. This week's comic shop shout out goes to Mammoth Comics in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this one comes from Randall. So we'll show you some photos of Mammoth Comics during the end credits. You can check out what the inside of their shop looks like. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your comic shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
There you go. Actually, Colin Jordan remembers the Spider-Man game too. He said Bruce Campbell narrated the game. He did, yes. Yes, he did. Actually, I would love, if we're playing with multiverse, I want Bruce Campbell in this No Way Home movie. If Johnny's giving me a thumbs up, he's like, yes, absolutely, please. And Sam Raimi's directing Doctor Strange. So there you go. That's perfect. All right. And that's wait again. Sorry, Fred's going to leave to see NASA launch a new mission. You know what? That's okay. Cool. You know what? We're going to clock out too, and we're going to leave you with this, guys. Follow, subscribe, share. That's a new one, right? You can hang out with me at PREVIEWSworld, right? I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, PREVIEWSworld.com. Ashton, what about you? Where you at?
You can come hang out with me at Free Comic Book Day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we have a TikTok. And of course, the Free Comic Book Day website. Those will be all of your places for news of Free Comic Book Day coming up in 2022. We're about a month before we start dropping some big announcements, so you're going to keep an eye on those pages.
Yeah, keep an eye out. And I'm going to drop a little surprise on Johnny real quick. We're going to do a Cowboy Bebop roundtable next week.
Whoa.
Johnny's like, what?
Hello.
We'll talk about that later, Johnny. Sorry. It's okay. It's all right. Oh, we can't hear you. Maybe it's best if he's muted.
No, you just drop this stuff on me like live while we're in the middle.
Right, get a live reaction.
But we are.
Right.
Of course. Netflix is...
I'm the boss. Need the info.
Need the info.
No.
Yeah, of course, the Netflix Cowboy Bebop show is dropping next week. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to have some of my friends on, and we would talk about the old series, which is weird to say. The old series. But yeah, bit more about that next week. So definitely check that out. And that's it for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we'll see you guys at the Spinner Rack. Catch you later.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.